Jamie, how would you describe 2018, mate?
Listen, for the gym in general, it was a great year. We had some great success, had a bad week at the end, but a bad week doesn't make a bad year, and we had a fantastic year. So you know, loads of success and disappointing end to it, but nonetheless it was a great year.
Obviously you went off with Carl off to Dubai. You spent some family time together there. Any idea on if he's going to come back, and if so, when?
Well, he said he wants to. You know, there has been a few offers out there, so but it's not for me to sort of delve into. But he's keen to fight again. He's disappointed with himself. He knows he started the fight in the wrong sort of way, and it led him down the wrong sort of path. And if he had not started the fight and didn't get involved like he did early on, that would have sort of set a different pattern for the fight. So, but listen, it's just boxing, isn't it? Josh fought a great fight, and a lot of the reason why Carl fought that sort of fight was because Josh was trying to make him do that. So, so he understands the little mistakes he made early on, which sort of had a snowball effect and made it worse as the fight went on. But you've got to take it out after Josh. He put in a great performance. But you know,
yeah, because after 3 rounds, no one thought he would have been able to come back into a fight like that.
For him to even get to the end of the fight, never mind make it a competitive close fight, is testament to his character and his determination. So he's still got loads left. If he was on the slide, never in a million years would he have been able to perform
do what
like
he
that.
did.
So it's like anything, a bit of time to reflect, look back on it, lick his wounds a bit, and but there's been some decent offers for him, so there's fights there for him if he wants it.
But it looks like this place is going to be absolutely hammered again. It seems like 2019 is going to follow in the same format as 2018. You've got the lads already back in the gym, already big fights lined up for all of them.
Yeah, do you know what? 2018 was one of the best years I've ever had in boxing. You know, I've been involved nearly 25 years in boxing, and it was just created so many great memories, had great success, met some great new lads, and you know, the gym was just buzzing, and it came from nowhere. So you know, that's continuing now. We've took a couple of new people on, Sean McGoldrick, Akib, Faz is turning over, he's coming with us, and yeah, I mean, you know, Martin Murray doesn't know what he's going to do yet. He's just going to sit back and see what he's going to do. But it's just a great bunch of lads, and you know, regardless of success or winning or losing, the journey what you're on and the lessons what these lads are learning along the way, not just from me but from Nigel and from each other. You know, they sit back and they watch each other in the gym. Do
you think that helps all the fighters working with one another, 100%. See one another, what one another are doing?
I know it does from my own personal experience.
Because you were in a good gym, weren't you?
I was, but I also spent a lot of time in different gyms as well, where like when I was 16, 17 I was in the Phoenix camp with Billy Graham, with Ricky was there as an amateur, but we had Michael Brody, Steve Foster, Morris Core, Enzo Bingham, Carl Thompson, surrounded by quality fighters. And I remember I was working delivering beer, and I'd go for me dinner, so I'd go and sit in and eat me dinner watching the lads just train. So I was good mates with Billy Graham, and just the stuff I picked up eating me dinner, watching Billy Graham go through drills about teaching how to deliver body punching properly and stuff like that. I remember, and I understand how that sort of absorbed into me, and how I carried that through and started to work on the stuff on my bags or sparring on the stuff I'd heard him say. So I know if you're obsessed like I was as a kid in improving yourself, and like I know these lads are, then you know, I tell the younger lads, come in early, we'll do what we've got to do, and then sit back and watch these lads spar. I watch Stevie Ward now, usually, just so you know, that's usually what Stephen Ward looks like about 2 days before the weigh-in. he's not had carbs for about 6 months. Yeah, so I know the benefits of just sitting back and watching. So when the lads,
is this a fact of, you know, obviously the majority of your career, your successful part of your career was at Oliver Harrison's.
Of course.
And I go down to
when there was me, Anthony Farnell, Steve Foster Jr., Amir Khan, you know, Mark Thompson was a young lad coming through, Alex Matvienko. We had a great stable of fighters, and we was able to learn off each other.
Well, I was going to say,
Martin Murray come eventually.
I was listening to you then, talking to Aqib and just pointing out a few things for him, because obviously he's just making that transition now from the amateur to the pro game, which is the next few months are going to the biggest learning curve for him, aren't they? And
the next few years will be definitely.
Well, but you know, saying just that making that transition, and the things I hear you saying is it comes in the same tone as Alex, and you both were taught by with Oliver. So
exactly, and how can you not learn or take those lessons on board, or even sound like them when you spend so much time learning off them?
Yeah.
So Oliver was obviously the biggest influence in my coaching
career,
sort of lessons, really. So I took it all on board as a fighter. I sound like Oliver in the corner. I hear so many little cliched stuff what we used to hearing over the years, but I'm happy with that, because if I feel like I sound like Oliver in the corner, then to me that's a good thing, because I know how good he is in a corner.
Yeah.
So obviously I picked up the good traits, and I've picked up off little things off other people over the years as well. So that's all you can do in life in general. You pick up lessons along the way and you try and put them into practice.
Yeah, but I you know what I love about it? I understand it, and that's what makes me smile, because I'm listening to you and I understand what you're saying. And you know, sometimes people try and make it.
People try and make it sound better than it actually is, you know, try and overcomplicate it. I probably do the opposite. I probably simplify it to make sure they understand it properly, the fundamentals of it. So it's not rocket science in one sense, but you can go as advanced and as far on with it as you want, and you have to treat every fighter individually and play it by ear, because what you try and teach one fighter, the other fighter might not be ready for that sort of level yet. You know, you have to really take baby steps with some of them. But Aqib, for instance, he's coming in at a real high level. He's a good fighter. He's going to be a very good fighter. So you can sort of.
Well, what made you first? You know, obviously he came down here because Nigel Travis knows about him from the amateur scene. Was that?
We had him down sparring for Carl.
Yeah.
I didn't know anything. I don't really follow the amateurs. I leave that to Nige. Nige is our sort of our guy for that. But Nige said he'll be good spar for Carl. We got him down, and straight away I went, wow, he's good, this kid. He'll be really good. So we kept him for the full 6-7 weeks of sparring, and he approached me. He asked me about who I, you know, about management wise, who I think I should go with. So I give him my opinions on a few different people. And then he's decided to go with Steve Wood, and then he asked me to train him. Now he was with Joe, and I know he'd spent a lot of time with Joe coming through the amateurs, but you know, I said, listen, you need to make it right with Joe. I can't just train you. You know, I'm real busy, but I'd love to be able to work with you if you wanted to come here, but you know, you have to make it right with Joe. So he's got away, and they've parted on good terms, and that's nice to hear. You know, he spent a lot of time in his gym. But I'm looking forward to working with him, because he's a real good talent. I think over the next year or two you're going to see some special things from him. Yeah,
he feels hopefully within a couple of years he can start moving fast, as the ex-GB fighters are doing.
He's 19, but he's definitely one of them fighters where you can sort of start fast tracking him sooner rather than later. I'd like to sort of see how he goes on in the first 3 or 4 fights, but talent wise he's definitely, and maturity wise as well, he's quite level-headed for a 19-year-old lad. So I'd say within 12 months he'll be involved in some decent fights.
Well, as the established fighters you've got down here, you know, we had the breakthrough for Mark Leach. Brilliant performance against Lewis Norman. You feel this is the year where a lot of people are going to be talking about him, and you've said he could be Salford's first modern day world champion.
Absolutely, and any fighter who's seen him spar or who's sparred him will tell you the same. He's a world class fighter already. He's so naturally talented. And he doesn't sell that many tickets, which is obviously a problem sometimes with promoters, but once they get to know him or see him perform properly, they'll understand how good he is. I mean, I've heard we sent him away sparring to Moscow and over in Marbella with some world-class fighters, and the reports I got back was that it was easy for him. So he's not going to get opportunities given to him because people aren't going to take that risk with him. He's going to have to earn them. But Steve Wood is working hard behind the scenes, trying to get him the opportunities. He's mandatory for the English, so it looks like we've got him an opponent for the English title now in March. So obviously that'll set the ball rolling for him title-wise. He should then become mandatory for the British, and then hopefully we can start forcing the issue with some fighters. Because honestly, when his problem sometimes is that he's too good for his own good, because he becomes a little bit laid back, and it's becomes.
I think he's learned a couple of lessons where that means that won't happen again now.
He got a draw because of it, and I said to him, you're going to throw all this talent away by being lazy. Don't be lazy. And quite the opposite against Louis Norman. He was out to make a statement, and that's what he did, and that's what he's capable of when he's in that sort of mindset. He reminds me. Not exactly the same, but he reminds me a little bit of Naseem Hamed. The way when he was coming through, he can be that sort of fighter where he can sit right in front of you and make you miss and make you pay. He throws those lovely screw shot uppercuts. He just needs that little bit more devil about him, but he's coming. He's shown it in his last fight, and he's starting to believe in himself now.
The GB Welsh lad, Sean McGoldrick, is that going to help? Because he's going to be same weight division, isn't he?
He is, and he's the opposite style to Mark. And the spars, what they have are good, very competitive spars. So they're going to bring each other on, because obviously Mark's a boxer tricks, switch hitter, constantly switching from southpaw to orthodox, really hard to nail down. And Sean's a real good pressure fighter, strong, can hit to the body. So they'll complement each other, and I think.
So I'm going to be treated to watch some wars in here, am I?
Definitely. I think 1 month someone will get on top of the spars, and the next month the other one will learn, and they'll keep pegging each other up. And that was my plan originally. Sean's been asking to come up for a while now, and I've been that busy and not been able to do it. But I like him. He's a nice kid, and I agreed to help him out. And the main reason behind it was thinking it'll do them both the world of good. Obviously I'll be able to have my input, but I think just them two working alongside each other in itself will bring them both on.
And then we've got Conrad, who's got a date now for a rematch with Luke Keeler.
Yeah, it's a big fight for him. Pivotal fight really. Keeler won the first fight, and Conrad did well to peg his way back in and make it sort of tough for Luke in the end. But Luke was winning the early rounds big, and Conrad's got to learn from those mistakes. He can't make those mistakes again, and I've no doubt it's going to be a tough fight. I like Luke. Luke's a nice guy, but Conrad, you can see he's got that bit between his teeth now.
He's looking in good shape already.
He is, and he knows he's going to have to be. I think a part of the reason of Conrad's performance last time was the weight. He didn't do the weight right. He was too heavy on the night, and he was flat-footed and laboured. So he knows he's going to have to be sharper and do the weight better this time, and you can see he's on it.
And for his stablemate, do you think Stephen Ward could be a breakthrough year for him?
He should be. I mean, Stephen's one of the most dedicated athletes you'll ever see. He's committed to learning. He listens to everything you say. He's at that stage this year now where he's going to have to push on, and he should be challenging for British title or titles of some sort. He's a good ticket seller, so they look after him. They're always putting him on the good shows, which is nice.
Well, he's just been added to Conrad's
just been added to the same bill as Conrad in Belfast. So. Yeah, I mean, it'll be a big year for Stephen, definitely. I think light heavyweight's a stacked division at British level, so I don't think winning the British title is going to be easy for this period of time at light heavyweight. But you're always going to have that competition and being involved in good fights, and that's what he wants. He needs them challenges now. He was fighting at the top level as an amateur for years, and turning over when you're boxing the journeyman and stuff, you can feel sort of deflated a little bit, and you're having to force the way you fight, and you need that sort of natural hunger and butterfly feeling to bring out the best in you. So I think Stephen being involved in some competitive fights, you'll see the best of him.
And Tommy, when's he back?
We're waiting to find out now. They're talking about Algeria maybe, which I like that fight.
Hasn't Algeria just picked up a world title?
No, he won at the weekend.
What was that then?
I don't know. I didn't see the fight, to be honest, but apparently he picked up a bad cut.
Bad cut on his eye.
So we'll see. But they're talking about taking Tommy to America again. Apparently he went down well over there. It's like Tommy's a good character. He comes across well. He's always exciting to watch. So you can understand why they liked him. So apparently DAZN liked him, and they want to take him back over there again, which is great news for Tommy, because he doesn't want to fight forever. Tommy, he's very switched on.
He said this is probably going to be his final year.
It could be, and he's switched on business wise. so financially he doesn't have to fight. He fights because he loves to fight.
He's the only person who's got to be as busy as Nigel.
Yeah,
ridiculously.
Nigel makes out he's busy. He's not like that, is it? No, I'm only joking. Nigel's the busiest man in the world, but Tommy's probably second. And for Tommy to be involved in a fight like Algeria, or can you imagine if Tommy gets a world title shot? I do know Eddie's trying to do it. He's trying to push for it, and that would be an absolute dream come true.
Even
and for somebody who's obsessed with Rocky, like Tommy is, it would be a proper Rocky story. So I hope he can deliver it for him, because he's been involved in some wars over the years, and he's gave the fans some real entertaining nights. So for him to be given a world title shot, lesser fighters have been gifted world title shots. If anyone deserves a title shot, who's maybe not in the top 10 in the world, it's Tommy Coyle.
Yeah. And Rocky, final?
Yeah, waiting to find out now. April or May, they reckon he'll be back out. But Rock's got another good couple of years. Obviously, he was in against the best fighter pound for pound in the world, so that potentially was always going to happen. But he's just got to dust himself off, look back, look at the mistakes he made, and
can I ask?
Reevaluate.
None of us expected that to stand and trade with him. Was that?
Well, no, he shouldn't have been stood in front of him trading with him, and I'm sure he'll look back on that and realise the mistake he made. But listen, he's all right. It's all right saying you shouldn't have done that, but Alvarez is...
he was clever, Alvarez. He worked that body well, didn't he?
He's very good at making you do what you don't want to do. So Rocky shouldn't have been stood in front of him. Obviously, we know that, but he's just got to dust himself off. Look at the tape, watch what he did wrong, and make sure he doesn't make those mistakes again.
Exciting year for you then?
Yeah, can't wait for it. Looking forward to it. I had 2 weeks off. Straight after New Year, came back and I had 2 weeks off, which...
Probably the last 2 weeks you're going to get...
Well, I haven't had any time off at all for 16 months, so I was constantly training fights for 16 months, and it was the first time after New Year that no one had a date. So I had 2 weeks off, but then during that 2 weeks there was things being put in place, and now we've got 6 fighters fighting in March. I've got every weekend in March someone's fighting, so we've got 5 Saturdays in March. So but you know what, it's not a job, is it, when you love what you do?
No. Jamie, a pleasure as always, mate.
Cheers,
thank you.